Hello mga Ka-ECOP, I'm Jose Roland Moya. The Employers Confederation of the Philippines, or ECOP, is here to ensure that your voice as employers is heard, articulated, and acted upon. ECOP addresses industrial relations issues, promotes social dialogue, and fosters proactive collaboration among employers and stakeholders. We are here to help employers become responsible, inclusive, and sustainable. ECOP has dual functions. First is its advocacy and lobbying role on labor and social policy issues on behalf of employers before the executive and legislative branches of the government. Second is the delivery of direct services, including training, capacity building, consultancy, provision of information, among others. By the way, wag po kayong aalis. Manood po tayo sa buong programa. Sagutin ang aming ECOPlus question for the day. I-post ang tamang sagot sa Facebook account ng ECOP at manalo ng premyo. May I introduce to you my co-host in today's episode of our digital TV program, Mr. Robert F. Maronilla, Corporate Secretary and Legal Services Manager of the Employers Confederation of the Philippines.
Thank you to my Director General, Mr. Jose Roland Moya. At magandang gabi mga ka-ECOP. Welcome to ECOPlus, Amplifying Your Voice, every other Monday at 5:30 p.m. Our episode today is about minimum wages and productivity. Notably, minimum wages have been increased in all the regions across the country. While this could mean good news for workers and employees, we would also like to know the implications on employers, especially to ECOP's constituents that belong to the micro, small, and medium enterprises, also known as the MSMEs. If you were able to catch our previous episode, you would know that the MSMEs make up at least 99.6% of all enterprises in the country. As we still continue to deal with the lasting effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, what could wage hikes potentially mean for the future of our employers?
If I may, Rob, these increases in minimum wage ranged between 30 to 110 pesos per day. In the National Capital Region, where I represent employers in the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board, it was pegged at 33 pesos. In tonight's episode of our program, we tackle the concept of minimum wage and the importance of productivity. We will also get to know more about the National Wages and Productivity Commission, or NWPC, and its role in wage determination. Ang makakasama natin ngayong gabi ay si Miss Maria Criselda C. Miss Maria Criselda C. is the Executive Director of the National Wages and Productivity Commission. Magandang gabi sa iyo, Edie Chris. Why don't you greet the viewers of ECOPlus, Amplifying Your Voice?
Yes, BM Roland, good evening to you and to Robert as well. Of course, also to your avid viewers here in ECOPlus. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat, and I'm very fortunate to be invited to this segment of your show.
To start, Edie Chris, can you introduce us to the National Wages and Productivity Commission and your organization's mandate?
Yeah, Rob, thank you for the question. Well, the National Wages and Productivity Commission, together with our 16 regional boards nationwide, we were created in 1989 by virtue of Republic Act 6727, or yung tinatawag natin na Wage Rationalization Act. We act as an advisory body to the President and Congress. And our main mandate is, number one, this is essentially a regulatory in nature to fix the minimum wage at the regional, provincial, or industry levels. At yung pangalawa naming mandate, which is more advocacy in nature, is to strengthen the relationship between wages and productivity through the promotion of productivity improvement, incentives, and gain-sharing schemes among micro, small, and medium enterprises.
Yeah, Chris, follow-up question lang doon sa tanong ni Rob. Ano po ba ang kaugnayan ng National Wages and Productivity Board or National Wages and Productivity Commission or NWPC sa mga Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Boards or RTWPBs na meron tayong RTWPB sa lahat ng 16 na rehiyon sa ating bansa?
Yung ating pong mga regional boards, ang ating operations arm, sila yung talagang merong mandate to set the minimum wage. At ang commission naman sets the policy or we create the policy that is being followed by the regional boards. And also our mandate to review. We have the review hours to whatever orders or advisories that the regional boards issue.
Okay, thank you. Follow-up question lang po, another one. Can you tell us po about the composition of the NWPC?
Yeah, ang National Wages and Productivity Commission and the regional boards are tripartite in composition. So, in the commission, we have the chairman of the commission who is the Secretary of Labor and Employment, and then the vice chair is the Secretary of the Socioeconomic Planning and Development or NEDA. We have the DTI as an observer at the commission, and then we have two sectoral representatives from the private sector or from the employer organization and two representatives from the labor organizations. Ako rin, I sit as a member of the commission and I represent the commission secretariat. Pagdating naman sa mga regional boards, we have the regional director of the Department of Labor and Employment as the chairperson at siya ay mayroong dalawang vice chairperson, DTI at ang NEDA, and then ganun din, mayroong dalawang representatives from the labor sector and from the employer sector. So yun po yung composition ng ating mga regional boards at saka ng commission proper.
Chris, gaano po ba katagal ang term of office ng member ng NWPC at Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board?
Yung ating po mga sectoral representatives have a term of 5 years and renewable upon the appointment of the president.
Could you please enlighten us on the concept of minimum wage as well as its intent?
Yeah, under RA 6727, we subscribe to the international standards as espoused in the ILO Convention 131, which was issued in 1970, or the Minimum Wage Fixing Convention. The minimum wage in our law serves as the floor wage, below which no worker should be paid. Its main intention is really to protect the vulnerable workers from undue low pay. At itong ang policy na to is just a support policy to a bigger labor market policy, which is essentially, we espouse or we give a primacy to collective negotiation as the main mode of setting better terms and conditions at work.
Another question, Chris. We always hear about the term minimum wage. However, we also hear the term living wage in the news. Ano po ang pagkaiba, or is there a difference between the term minimum wage as to the term living wage?
Yung living wage po under RA 6727 is one of the criteria that the board needs to analyze and look into. But the law did not say that we have to set the minimum wage to be equated to living wage. At this time, although of course doon sa international standard, that's one of the concerns, but at this time in our country, in one of the interviews that I had, sabi ko nga yung living wage for now is an aspiration wage for us. And in fact, that is one of the things that we have to consider in our Philippine Development Plan when we say that we have to improve the standard of living of our workers. So to approximate yung living wage in our country, I think it requires a combination of economic and labor market policies to be able to achieve that, and it's really a work in progress at this time.
Yeah, i-decrease lahat ng RTWPBs ay nagpasa na ng mga wage orders. Ito bang mga wage orders na to ay applicable sa lahat ng private sector enterprises regardless of size?
Yeah, tama yun, BM Roland. Yung mga minimum wage na ini-issue ng ating mga regional boards are applicable to all private sector workers regardless of the size of their organization or company. Sabi ko nga kanina, it's a floor wage at this serves as their protection from exploitation or undue low wages. But companies, the issuance of a minimum wage does not stop management from giving their workers higher than the minimum wage. So sa ngayon, if I may just give you an update on what happened during this round of wage increases. To date, all our 16 regional boards have already issued their wage orders for the private sector workers, and also 13 of them have also issued wage orders for the domestic workers. And these wage orders already take into consideration as input the 25 petitions received by the regional boards nationwide. And as you know, most of the petitions prayed for 750 minimum wage, while there are also petitions range from 210 to 470, for example, in NCR. And aside from that, we also know that there are regional boards that did not receive a petition for wage increase, but a motu proprio, they initiated the wage adjustment process, which started actually in March to May of this year. So in summary, if I may just summarize yung issuance ng ating lahat ng regional boards, the new round of wage orders already put the minimum wage at the range of 329, that's the lowest in Mimaropa, to 570 pesos, in NCR. And as I mentioned a while back siguro, yung minimum wage natin, since they were issued in different dates, they will cover varying effectivity dates this month in June.
Yeah, Chris, follow-up question also since we're talking about wage order. Para po sa kaalaman ng ating viewers, ano po ang mga criteria for wage setting? You don't have to mention all, but maybe only the important ones that our viewers might want to understand.
Oo, actually 10 yung criteria for minimum wage determination, and we clustered them into 4 major areas. The first one is, of course, we look at the needs of workers and their families, and then the second is we look at the employer's capacity to pay, and the third is that we look at the requirements of economic development. So in looking at all this, there are several socioeconomic indicators that the boards monitor on a regular basis, trying to see the propriety of issuing a wage order or not in a particular region. Especially kung malapit na, for example, mag-anniversary date yung wage order, kasi alam naman natin na yung effectivity ng ating wage order ay 12 months every year, and the boards are tasked to review on a regular basis the appropriateness of the minimum wage in their particular area.
Nabanggit nyo po kanina na meron mga regions na hindi naman nakatanggap ng petitions for wage increase, at meron kayong term na binanggit ang motu proprio. Pwede po bang pakipaliwanag ito, i-decrease for the enlightenment of our viewers?
When we say motu proprio on their own, kung sa tingin nila on the basis of the analysis of the socioeconomic condition in the region, it already warrants the need to review the minimum wage. On their own, kahit walang petition manggagaling sa labor sector or the employer sector, they can initiate the wage review. So in the past, if we're going to look at the history of minimum wage fixing in the country, a majority of the minimum wage determination process actually nagsimula via motu proprio than petitions. Probably, kung di ako nagkakamali, mga about 60% of the minimum wage orders issued were done via motu proprio.
Chris, another question. One thing I'm sure our viewers are curious about, why do minimum wages differ per region?
Yung ating mga minimum wage differ per region kasi if you're going to look at our socio-economic indicators, magkakaiba yung living conditions, for example, ng mga highly developed regions as compared to the not so developed regions in the country. At ito naman ay napapatunayan natin given the statistics of the official statistics as released by the PSA, no? Iba-iba yung presyo ng mga bilihin ng prime commodities in some regions as compared to the others, and even the level of employment, no? Kung mapapansin natin yung mga developed regions, mas mataas yung unemployment rate kasi mas maraming naghahanap ng trabaho dahil mas maraming opportunities sa tingin ng mga job seekers dito sa mga highly urbanized areas. But for example, for the non-urbanized areas na hindi ganun karami yung concentration ng establishments, mas mababa yung unemployment rate pero mas mataas naman yung underemployment rate. So makikita natin yung differences ng socio-economic conditions. This is the reason why there was a decision in 1989 to regionalize the minimum wage fixing. The intention really is to adopt the principle of subsidiarity wherein the people on the ground are in the best position to determine the nuances in the labor market and the economic condition in the area, and therefore they are in the best position to decide what is the appropriate minimum wage in the region without affecting negatively the business in the area, and at the same time address the living conditions or the expenses of the families of our workers in the regions.
I-decrease kahit naman sa isang region ay magkakaiba rin yung mga minimum wage rates, lalo na po sa region 4A. If you work in highly urbanized cities like Antipolo City, Calamba, if I'm not mistaken, iba yung minimum wage rates dito doon sa mga nakatira sa, for example, sa Liloan, sa Los Baños. Can you please explain a little more about these differences in minimum wage rates within a particular region?
Kung matatandaan nyo, before the enactment of RA 6727, isang minimum wage lang tayo nationwide. And then there was a decision nga to regionalize the wage, and part of the function of the regional boards is to see whether there is still a need to come up with a more disaggregated minimum wage in their area, either by geographical location or by the nature of the industry or the development of the industry. So, ganun yung nangyari in the past. In the early 90s, I think when I was reading the history of minimum wage determination in the country, umabot ng more than 200 rates, minimum wage rates, yung ating mga regional boards. So, the experience in terms of operationalizing that so many minimum wage rates, yung administrative requirement has been so humongous, and it led the commission to adopt the policy of simplifying the minimum wage rates para yung administrative aspect of monitoring compliance to minimum wages ay hindi naman ganun mahirapan yung ating mga labor inspectors. When we adopted in 2012, I guess, the two-tiered wage system, one of the policy direction that was pursued by the commission and the boards is to simplify the minimum wage rates. So from more than 200 minimum wage rates in the past, ngayon, before the issuance of the new rounds of wage order ngayon, nasa 64 yung ating wage rates nationwide. At ito ngayong bagong issuance ng wage order, some of the regional boards pursued even further yung simplification of their wage rates, kaya mas bumaba pa ito sa 46 yung wage rates. So hopefully, meron na rin kasi tayong mga regions na iisa na lang yung rate like Caraga, and NCR has only 2 rates. So we're trying to give, of course, advice and recommendation recommendations doon sa ating mga regional boards na medyo marami pa yung wage rates nila, no, like Region 4A, na baka every time that they issue wage orders, isama doon sa track ng kanilang decisions yung mas isimplify pa yung wage rates. Kasi yung isang nakita natin dito sa experience na to, kapag masyadong complex yung wage rates at maraming naiiwan sa baba, habang tumataas yung wage rates sa taas, mas naiiwan yung mga nasa baba. So, mas hindi sumasabay. So, ang laki nung difference to the disadvantage of the workers in those areas where the minimum wage is really so low. I hope I was able to respond to your question, BM Roland.
Yes, ED Chris, thank you for the explanation.
ED Chris, hi. Matanong lang po, ano po itong concept ng wage distortion? Nababasa po namin to sa news and ang alam po namin ay this is highly discouraged by the employers.
Okay. Yung wage distortion, nakasaad din yan sa ating RA 6727. It happens when there is a severe contraction in the salary structure of an organization in such a way na, for example, when you introduce a minimum wage, dahil sa masyadong maliit yung difference from the next rank, nagkakaroon na ng distortion. So, ang nakalagay sa batas, the labor and management are encouraged to correct the distortion. Kung ang company ay unionized, it's the labor union and the management that shall correct it. At kung wala namang union yung company, the representatives of the workers and the management shall endeavor to correct the wage distortion. So, kung on their own, hindi sila magkasundo sa correction process, pwede nilang ilapit yon sa NCMB for conciliation and mediation, at kung hindi pa rin sila magkasundo doon ay pwede nilang iakyat sa NLRC. So kami naman on the part of our organization, we provide technical assistance to firms on how they can correct wage distortion. There are actually a lot of formulas that can be used to correct wage distortion, which we can offer to firms depending probably on the nature of their compensation scheme. Pwede silang mamili and we're open to giving them assistance.
Nasa mandate po ba ng National Wages and Productivity Commission na iset yung sahod ng mga skilled professionals or workers, and I'm referring to health workers, construction workers, for example. But Director C, before you answer my question, we will be taking a quick break. Mga Ka-ECOP, please stay tuned as we will be right back after this segment.
The Employers Confederation of the Philippines offers training programs on industrial relations, occupational safety and health, management and employee development, human resources, and entrepreneurship development. The industrial relations programs cover labor laws, dialogue mechanisms, administrative investigations, and grievance handling. The occupational safety and health programs ensure safe and healthy workplaces in accordance with laws and good practices. The management development programs help companies manage tasks and people in the context of the fast-changing business environment. The employee development programs foster agility among workers through soft skills for survival and sustainability. The HR programs enable practitioners to build smarter organization and enhance employee-employer relationships. The entrepreneurship development programs help aspiring and existing small business entrepreneurs start or expand their businesses. ECOP trainers and consultants come from different sectors, academe, business, and government, who are experts and seasoned practitioners in their respective fields. Because of the disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the ECOP Training and Development Department shifted its public programs online using the Zoom lectures and complemented with online exercises and case studies. To our in-house programs, ECOP works closely with our client companies in the design and execution of a training intervention to suit its specific requirements. The ECOP eCampus is a learning management system where participants can learn anywhere and anytime at their own pace. It enables ECOP to offer courses and programs either in fully online or blended approach formats. It is a repository of learning materials, pre-recorded videos, exercises, quizzes, and evaluation tools. Through the eCampus, participants can also interact with the resource persons and other participants and retrieve their certificates. Both ECOP members and non-members may access our training services. ECOP members are entitled to free slots in some of our training programs and enjoy substantial discounts on the registration fees in all courses. To learn more about our training programs, visit www.ecop.org.ph or email us at ecoptnb@gmail.com.
And we're back. Welcome again to ECOPlus, Amplifying Your Voice. I am Jose Roland Moya, and ED Chris, allow us to repeat the question.
ED Chris, is it within the NWPC's mandate to set the wages of skilled professionals like healthcare workers or the construction workers?
I just would like to clarify that the policy intent of Republic Act 6727 is to set the regional minimum wage. Again, the intention is to protect vulnerable workers from undue low wages. Ito pong ating mga skilled professionals like health workers and construction workers, as you mentioned, being licensed individuals, these workers are entitled to wages higher than the prescribed minimum. So, I think dapat yung mga industry associations na yung nagsiset ng kanilang benchmark rate for these types of skilled workers. These are not within the mandate na po of the Commission and the regional boards. Again, as I mentioned earlier, our mandate is just to set the floor wage to protect the vulnerable workers. Yung mga skilled workers natin po, subject na po yan sa market rate. So, hindi na po natin yan sinasakop ng mandato ng ating mga regional boards.
Ang ibig pong sabihin ng NWPC ay National Wages and Productivity Commission. Na-discuss na natin yung patungkol sa wages. Meron pa kayong isang mandate, i-decrease, and that is on productivity. What set NWPC apart from the productivity mandates of other government agencies like the Development Academy of the Philippines and the Competitiveness Bureau of the Department of Trade and Industry?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you, BM Roland. Ang NWPC ho, in line with our mandate on advocacy, especially on productivity improvement, our regional boards provide training and technical assistance to micro, small, and medium enterprises on various productivity tools and technologies. And the essential focus is on systems improvement. Yun pong package of assistance that we provide ranges from basic to advanced techniques, and it is contained in our umbrella program dubbed as the Productivity Toolbox. And the menu of training programs, ito po ay pwedeng i-access ng mga interesadong MSMEs sa aming website. At dahil sa the NWPC and the regional boards are attached with the Department of Labor and Employment, the focus of our training modules and advocacies are on human resource development. And as I mentioned earlier, in strengthening the relationship or the nexus between wages and productivity via, of course, greater advocacy on the adoption of productivity incentive schemes. At sa ngayon nga for this year, we're going to promote it through greater employee engagement. Yun pong mga technical assistance that we provide for MSMEs Ito po ay libre for them since they do not have the means to procure the services of productivity consultants. Now, yung DAP naman po, DAP is, as we know, the country's designated national productivity organization. And I think it has a more complex mandate on productivity. It is the one that is in charge of deploying the technical assistance that comes from the Asian Productivity Organization. We are a member of the APO, and being a member, they deploy technical assistance to member countries, and it is the DAP that is in charge of that. And I believe at this point, the DAP is also giving more attention to improving the productivity of our government offices. Now, pagdating naman po sa DTI Competitiveness Bureau, I think yung focus po nila is more on marketing technologies and in helping enterprises to focus their business when it comes to yung promotion and providing counseling services on business operations to enhance the competitiveness of companies and enterprises. So mas marketing based po yung yung kanilang intervention, unlike the DOLE. Unlike us, since as I said earlier, we're attached with DOLE. Most of our training programs are geared towards improving the human resources of our country.
Very briefly, Chris, pwede bang ma-enumerate mo yung productivity advocacy services ng NWPC and sino po ba ang target beneficiaries nitong mga productivity services ng NWPC at paano po nila ma-avail itong mga services na ito?
Okay, we offer technical assistance on, as I said, productivity improvement and more on incentives and gain sharing schemes to MSMEs for free. We have modules from basic to a more advanced tools and techniques that enterprise can avail, and they can visit our website at www.nwpc.dole.gov.ph to register in our Productivity Toolbox registration. So, pwede na ho sila doon mag-register. Hindi na kailangan pumunta sa mga regional boards. Or kung gusto nila, pwede pa rin po nilang kontakin yung mga regional boards natin that are nearest to their place of work. They can also send us messages in our social media account. And we take pride that our social media account in Facebook is the only verified account among the DOLE agencies. And how do we motivate our MSMEs to successfully implement productivity programs by way of our technical assistance? Ito ho, ini-encourage namin yun pong aming mga nabigyan ng technical assistance na nakapag-sustain ang kanilang productivity improvement. Sila po ay aming ina-encourage na mag-join doon sa ating biennial productivity Olympics competitions, at we are providing rewards and recognitions to those establishments that exemplifies yung outstanding productivity intervention to their companies. At doon po sa binibigay namin na technical assistance on productivity, hindi lang ho ito talaga about implementing productivity program. Ang bottom line ho ng aming technical assistance is to ensure na once na yung company ay maturuan namin ma-improve yung productivity, we are also able to provide them techniques and technologies on how they can better share the fruits of productivity gains through a technical assistance pa rin po yan on several productivity incentives, schemes, and gain sharing schemes. So yun po ang pinaka-focus ng aming intervention. Kailangan makita natin na kung nagkasundo yung workers at saka yung management na mapaunlad yung productivity nila, ay ma-share po naman sa workers yung productivity gains. That is what I meant earlier when I say that we are focusing on strengthening the nexus between wages and productivity. Para lang hindi po yung ating mga workers ay umaasa lang sa pag-increase ng minimum wage.
Yeah, Chris, one more question on this, especially during this pandemic. Now, when the pandemic hit, how did the NWPC respond in a general sense?
Yeah, o lahat tayo, we were caught unprepared because of the pandemic. But because we have our business continuity plan in the office, we pivoted when it comes to the provision of our technical assistance to our clients during the pandemic. And this is by way of deploying the technologies using the modules that we provide using the digital or the virtual platform, similar to the way that we do it now here in ECOPlus. We developed training modules that helped enterprises to unlock their workforce productivity amid the disruption of the pandemic so that they can reconfigure their processes and sustain their operations. Yung pinaka-mabentang training assistance that we had during that time is our module on business continuity and resiliency planning. And in fact, this is one of our commitment to the Bayanihan We Heal as One project. There is also another module, yung work-life balance of working from home and improving the productivity through the social media marketing. So yun yung mga examples ng mga trainings that we were able to deploy during the pandemic. We also upgraded existing modules to incorporate advocacy on the basic workplace protocols, no, yung health protocols natin, especially our modules on lean management in the new normal, yung ating 7S of good housekeeping wherein na-incorporate natin yung basic health protocols, the service quality, and also in the green productivity. We also expanded the landscape of our program beneficiaries. So hindi lang mga micro, small, and medium enterprises. We also included not the self-employed workers, the underemployed workers, the new entrants in the labor force, and even the senior high school student. Yung aming mga binigay na training program sa kanila ay yung ating mga modules on the work ethics of a productive workforce, and we're implementing this with our tie-up with the Bureau of Local Employment in terms of improving the life skills of the new entrants in the labor market. Meron din kami for the high school students yung tinatawag natin na productive career choice. Ito naman, the intention is to boost the employment facilitation and career guidance services of the Bureau of Local Employment of the Department of Labor and Employment. So yun yung some of the initiatives that we had during the pandemic. So hindi naman kami tumigil, bagamat nahinto nga yung ating unang mandate, yung sa minimum wage because of the impact of the pandemic, but we shifted more on improving the firms or helping the firms in terms of ensuring the continuity of their services or programs.
Just recently, the National Wages and Productivity Commission launched an online system for the submission of the annual establishment report on wages. Bago po ba itong requirement na ito i-decrease?
Hindi ito bago, PM Roland. The submission of the annual establishment report on wages is required under Article 124 of the Labor Code and as amended by RA 6727. But this year's submission, we opt na hindi na lang siya isubmit sa mga regional boards. Diretso na siyang isubmit sa NWPC because we have already developed our digital submission, centralized submission process. Actually ensures an easier and a more convenient and an efficient way of collecting administrative data on wages. At ito naman gagamitin natin to improve the implementation of our policies on wages, incomes, and productivity. So at this time, BM Roland, may I take this opportunity to encourage our private sector firms to submit their annual establishment report on wages. Yung information to be provided will of course be treated in strictest confidence, and we will use it as part of our big data analytics that would help us or enable us to compare and validate naman yung mga survey data that are being officially released by the PSA. Importante sa amin itong administrative-based statistics na to as a way to do comparison when it comes to the existing wage data in the Philippines.
ED Chris, so thank you for a very fruitful discussion. But please don't leave yet, as we would like you to answer the questions of Mr. Bryant Kim An. He is the president of the Antipolo City Chamber of Commerce.
Let's have a short break for the ECOPlus Amplifying Your Voice Netizens Q&A.
Interested in getting familiar with the single and official voice of Philippine employers? Want to stay updated on the latest news and trends on labor and social policy issues? By becoming a member of ECOP, you can have access to all of these and many more. Explore the benefits of joining ECOP. ECOP provides its members with a comprehensive range of services that includes training, advocacy, and information through seminars, research publications and networking. The ECOP Help Desk provides assistance to members who may have questions or concerns on issues regarding human resource management, HRM, industrial relations, IR, and occupational safety and health, OSH. Managed and operated internally using ECOP facilities and technical staff, the Help Desk can be easily accessed through multiple platforms. We regularly conduct free webinars to keep our constituents in the business community abreast with the latest and upcoming developments on industrial relations, social policies, and related topics. Aside from free webinars, we offer to members big discounts in our public training programs, seminars, and workshops on IR, HR, OSH, and a lot more. Philippine employers are represented by ECOP in various tripartite bodies. ECOP's participation in congressional hearings and other policy consultations ensures that the voice of employers is articulated, heard, and acted upon. As a member, you can network and join events that bring together company representatives to discuss developments and issues on industrial relations and human resources management through our Members' General Meeting, MGM. Aside from this, you can attend, Discover ECOP, an interactive forum organized for members and non-members alike to familiarize them with ECOP's advocacies, activities, and programs. An overview of pending labor bills in Congress and proposed policy issuances discussed in the Technical Executive Committee of the Department of Labor and Employment are usually presented. We provide a learning and sharing platform among representatives of our member companies through our ECOP networks. ECOP Networks has 3 fields of specialization, which are industrial relations and human resources, IR/HR, occupational safety and health, OSH, and corporate social responsibility and responsible business conduct, CSR, RBC. As a member company, your management or HR representatives will have the opportunity to receive full overseas technical scholarship on topics such as industrial relations, human resource management, and occupational safety and health organized in Japan. ECOP also organizes the annual National Conference of Employers, where our members enjoy discounts when participating. Lastly, you will enjoy other benefits such as up-to-date, informative e-bulletin and research publications. We provide our members up-to-date and relevant news, studies and statistics gathered from reputable agencies, as well as trends and practices directly collected from various industries. Our members can enjoy 50% discount on research publications such as Corporate Compensation Survey and CPA Report. Free conferences, workshops, or seminars by invitation through ECOP special projects. Exclusive access to members-only page in the ECOP website, where you can review different project tools, documents, copies of position papers, minutes of committee meeting, and loads of other records. ECOPlus, Amplifying Your Voice, is ECOP's digital television program that airs regularly in various social media platforms. The program discusses ECOP's advocacies and programs. It also features interviews with employers, practitioners and policymakers on current, evolving and future workplace issues. Airs twice a month, 5:30 p.m., on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. As our members continue to grow their businesses, ECOP will always continue its mandate of protecting the interest and advocating the welfare of the business community. Discover the many ways you can support your business or enterprise today. Join the Employers Confederation of the Philippines. Your partner. Your advocate. The single and official voice of the Philippine employers on labor and social policy issues.
Rob, we are now in the ECOPlus Netizens Corner segment of the show. As mentioned earlier, Mr. Brian Kim An, the president of the Antipolo City Chamber of Commerce and Industry, has a few questions for ED Chris.
Ay, paano po maaapektuhan ang mga piece rate at saka per biyahe na employees sa wage increase na nangyari?
Yeah, Brian, thank you for the question. Yung computation ng piece rate ay nakabase sa dalawang bagay. Ang production standard na ginagamit per day at saka yung prevailing minimum wage rate. So, ang ginagawa lang natin, dinidivide natin yung prevailing minimum wage rate with the production standard to get the piece rate. So, automatically, kapag mag-increase ang minimum wage, ay tumataas din yung halaga ng per piece output. Halimbawa, gamitin nating example yung current minimum wage sa NCR na 537. So, kung sa isang araw yung production standard ay makapag-produce yung isang worker ng 10 packs of product, so dapat yung halaga nung per pack ng product na pinoproduce niya ay nasa 53.70 pesos. So, para pag minultiply mo siya sa 10, lalabas na 537 per day yung kanyang makukuha, which is compliant to the minimum wage. Ngayon, because of the issuance of the new wage order na tumaas, naging 570 yung minimum wage. So ang magiging na ngayon, rate na ng per pack na ipoproduce ay magiging 57 pesos na. So, ganun yung yung computation. Pagdating naman dun sa per biyahe, ganun pa rin yung principle. Kung halimbawang sa loob ng isang araw, ang maximum production standard ay 2 biyahe sa isang araw. So, yung 537, i-divide mo siya sa 2. So, mga 268.50 per trip yung kanyang magiging bayad. So, dun sa 2 biyahe niya ay 537 pesos pa din. And then, because of the increase in the minimum wage, tataas yun into, I think, 285 pesos per trip because the minimum wage already increased to 570. So, I hope nalinawan yung paano kinocompute yung pagtaas ng wage increase sa pakyaw or piece rate basis.
ED Chris, meron pa pong second question si Brian.
Hello, as we all know, marami ang nagsuffer or mga kumpanyang nagsara or pinipilit pang bumangon ng mga kumpanya dahil sa pandemya. Ano kaya yung pwedeng magawa ng kumpanyang yon para ma-exempted siya sa current wage increase?
Okay, salamat ulit sa tanong, Brian. There are 2 ways where establishments can apply for exemption from the implementation of the new wage order. The first is that retail service establishments regularly employing not more than 10 workers can actually file for exemption. All they need to do is to issue an affidavit of undertaking and submit their business certification to the nearest board, and then they will be given already an exemption. The second one, which is malapit dun sa tanong mo, no? Or this is the response to your question. Those establishments that were adversely affected by the natural calamities or yung pandemic na meron tayo ngayon, ay pwede silang mag-apply for exemption. At yung gagawin lang din nila is to submit an affidavit of undertaking that they suffered from the pandemic, and also they have to submit proof of their claim. So normally ang tinitignan dyan yung financial statement. So depende sa board kung ano yung mga requirement na hihingin sa inyo. But I think it will be easier naman to submit the requirements to be asked by the board. So I hope I was able to answer your question. Thank you ulit.
Thank you very much, ED Chris, for answering the questions of Brian. We truly appreciate your time and valuable knowledge you have shared with us in this episode.
Thank you so much, Executive Director Maria Criselda C. of the National Wages and Productivity Commission or NWPC for your time. Maraming salamat din kay Mr. Brian Kim An, President of the Antipolo City Chamber of Commerce and Industry sa iyong mga tanong. Sana ay nasagot ni ED Chris ang iyong mga tanong. For our netizens, kanina binanggit namin ang ECOPlus question for the day na dapat abangan para manalo ng papremyo. Ito po ang ECOPlus question for the day. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng NWPC? I'll repeat the question. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng NWPC? Rob, paano ba sasagutin ang ECOPlus question for the day para manalo sila ng premyo?
Ito po ang mechanics. I-comment ang sagot sa Facebook account ng ECOP. #ECOPlus Amplifying Your Voice, space, your answer, space, title ng episode na ito. Don't forget to like and share this episode in our ECOP Facebook page. Ang mapipiling mananalo ay ino-notify sa ECOP Facebook page at bibigyan namin ng instructions paano makuha ang premyo.
Mga ka-ECOP, I'm your host, Jose Roland Moya, with my co-host,
Rob Maronilla. See you every other Monday at 5:30 p.m. sa next episode ng
ECOPlus, Amplifying Your Voice. Stay safe and God bless everyone.